You have to really have been on the inside. Now, I never worked, thank God, for Jefferson Pilot Broadcasting. But that station was put on the air by a guy named Woody Sudbring Broadcasting. Not a great broadcaster to say the best, but smart enough to hire a guy named Dick Casper. Used to be WFUN, Fun Radio, big rock station back in the 50s and 60s. Then they started dying. They had a bad signal problem, lousy engineers, and no audience, and you could barely hear them. And they were, and AM rock radio went dead anyway. So they bought the station, shut it deader than a doornail, which they were supposed to do at W Snooze, by the way, until we let the cats out of the bag. And they shut it down for a month. They changed the call letters from WFUN. What is this? What is this about? What is this about? The Clap Lady? Oh, excuse me. She's going to be on with Steve a week from Monday. But anyway, and then we came on like in late March, I think it was, of 78. They hired me from KAT. They hired Stan Major, Mickey Dane, Jerry Wichner, and it was all news until 8 o'clock at night, which was we had Prescott Robinson and Jack McCoy and Steve Daly and John Charles Daly and Arlene Francis and Bennett Cerf and Dorothy Kilgallen. Well, my memory's getting bad. And then at 8 o'clock, I was on 8 to midnight, and Wichner was on midnight till 5 in the a.m. We had the late Charlie Kappas was over there, and Dick Casper, the late. Great. And the only numbers we started getting were at night. 8 to midnight, midnight to 5. Started getting to be pretty decent. And then all of a sudden, after about a year of puking with .1s and .3s trying to beat WINZ with news, all of a sudden, the book comes out, I got a 10-5 share at night, and Wichner's got like an 80 billion share. And so yours truly, the fat man in his chair, I went to lunch with Dick Casper, several clandestine lunches, and I said, you're spinning your wheels, you're wasting your time, let's go all talk. Let's put Alice Rantel on full-time in the midday. And he said, what? I said, yeah, do it. And so we did news in the morning with Prescott Robinson and Steve Daly. We had Alice on from 10 to 2, Stan Major on. I think at that time he was doing like 2 to 4, and then we did news from 4 to 6, and he came back and did 6 to 8, split shift, I think. And then I was on 8 to midnight, Wichner overnight. And all of a sudden, boom, through the roof. And we went through a few years, and Jerry Williams came along from where was he working at the time? Somewhere in Boston, not the BZ, from wherever he was. And Jerry Williams came down and just we had like a 6-4 book in the spring, in the fall. Was it in the fall of 81, I think? Well, whatever it was, gigantic. Then Jerry left and went back to Boston because he couldn't stand it here, and he was getting he got mugged and practically murdered the night he was leaving town. I went over to INZ. The station was bought by a man named Neil Rockoff. Rockoff, what kind of a name is that? Bizarre guy. Started destroying it. Meanwhile, Jefferson Pilot buys old WGBS. Remember Arnie Warren and Amos? Every now and then you see Arnie doing some spot on TV. Still talking a wonderful town with that same phony, crappy voice. And they buy WGBS to make it a big talk station to compete with W Snooze and us at INZ. 3 in the same market. They bring in David Gold, Lee Fowler, an embarrassing assortment of right-wing douchebags, plus Bev Smith.
Uh-huh.
And who else was on there? Barry, what was his name? Barry something. He's out in Phoenix. Well, whatever. In no time at all, they had like .3s and .5s destroyed. And at that time, WGBS had the best daytime signal of any AM station in this market. 710 on the dial. Destroyed it. Ruined it. Drove it into the ground, incompetent, with Dennis Collins, a general manager, and Lee Fowler as the operations mangler. An embarrassment. So what did they do? They sell the 710 frequency to Radio Mambi. What are the call letters? WAQI, Radio Mambi. No speaker de Inglés. From Neil Rockoff, the 790 frequency, WNWS, and they moved their talk operation over there. And they keep some of the old guys like Rantel and I think Shirley Peters at the time and whoever else, and they move in Fowler and a couple of other losers and keep Wichner on at night. And all of a sudden, it starts getting older and older And they got like all the old chronic talk callers and topics that have just like migrated to that spot on the dial in that part of this community. And they're giving away like Feldine. And what was the other stuff they were giving away? Those pills, Fiber One. I mean, they made it into a geriatric station. And then all of a sudden they're saying, well, geez, we can't sell it. Business is bad. What's wrong with the geriatric station? What's wrong is that nobody wants to buy a station where the entire audience are the Walking Dead. They like to have at least a little balance, at least a few people who are still alive. Just one or two would be a good start. And so here we are on this momentous day, October 12th. I should have do this tomorrow. I'm wasting all of this. They want me to do it tomorrow. Well, I'll repeat it. We'll just play the tape. And I'll sit around and gloat. And it has nothing to do with the individual personalities over there, as much crap as we like to give them, because that's all showbiz, okay? Most of those people I don't even know. Market's down 21 points. But the bottom line is, as far as that upper-level management is concerned at Jefferson Pilot Broadcasting, even the sisters cringe when they think about them, okay? They have now taken 2 of the major AM frequencies in this market and destroyed them. Had to sell one to bail out of that one. And now they're putting on the music of your life. Are you on AM? It's like going back to the days of MOR, middle of the road. History. And of course we know they'll get some real good demographics with that, right? What the hell are they thinking about? I think they want the parents of the people they have listening now to start tuning in. They'll have to bring them in busloads from St. Petersburg and St. Augustine. You know the ones that Willard Scott says hello to on the Today Show every morning who are over the age of 190? And shows the pictures of these wrinkle-up prunes and says, oh, here's a good-looking guy up in Muskegon, Michigan. Yeah. So get out the Polident and the Feldine and the Metamucil and the Maalox, because we're going to put all this crap aside. We're going to start getting real serious on this station. You know what I'm saying? I guess.